Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? Today we're trying Hormel Compleats, Comfort Classics, Dumplings and Chicken, and the Hormel Compleats Hearty Chicken Pot Pie Stew. Now that's a bit confusing. Is it a pot pie or is it a stew? Well, I guess it can't be both a pot pie and a stew, but we're going to try both complete meals, starting with the Hormel Compleats Hearty Chicken Pot Pie Stew, which is made with white meat chicken, carrots, green beans, and celery with egg noodles and a savory sauce. This Compleats meal weighs in at 7.5 ounces and costs $2.12. Now, did you know that these are America's #1 shelf-stable microwave meals? That's right, there's no refrigeration required and no artificial ingredients. Now, I know that was a whole lot of information dumped on you at once, but you never know, you may need it sometime in your life. Now here's the list of ingredients, and with it being a shelf-stable, processed meal, I thought the ingredients would be much worse. The serving size is the whole 7.5 ounce tray, which has 210 calories, 10 grams of total fat, 4 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat, 40 milligrams of cholesterol, 890 milligrams of sodium, 20 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, 2 grams of sugars, and 10 grams of protein. Now let's go over the Hormel Compleats, Comfort Classics, Dumplings and Chicken made with white chicken, tender white meat chicken, and tasty dumplings in a savory sauce. Now why do they have to repeat themselves? Dumplings and chicken made with white chicken, and then immediately after, tender white meat chicken. So I guess initially the chicken wasn't tender. Here's the ingredient list, and again, no artificial ingredients. The serving size is the whole 7.5 ounce container, which has 170 calories, 4 grams of total fat, 1.5 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat, 30 milligrams of cholesterol, 690 milligrams of sodium, 25 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, 2 grams of sugars, and 8 grams of protein. After venting the film, microwaving on high for 1 minute, and letting it rest for 1 more minute, our Hormel Compleats Hearty Chicken Pot Pie Stew is ready. Well, they, whoever they are, do say you eat with your eyes first. Well, if I was eating with my eyes first, this would be in the trash can. So that's evidently not true, at least in this case it's not, because I'm going to try this, for you, the people, so you don't have to. And once Mrs. Wolf Pit started mixing it up, it started looking a little bit better, and more like a goo than a glop. And a goo has always been better than a glop, right? It almost seems like a Campbell's condensed soup that needs to have water or milk added to it. So we went in and got a big old scoop of goo. And that looks exactly like what it is, a scoop of goo. I thought Scooby-Doo was a dog. Scooter, didn't I tell you to go play in the road while I do videos? So into the old pie hole, and almost immediately out of the pie hole it went. But I'm no quitter, and down the gullet it went. Now for those of you that know me, know that I hate the term dude. As a matter of fact, I almost consider it a cuss word in my house. But once I tasted this, I looked at Mrs. Wolf Pit, and I was like, dude, what the fudge brownies is this? I'm not exaggerating or overreacting, but this was horrid. I honestly think there was something wrong with this meal. I tried a second bite, but I did not swallow it because I didn't want to get ill if there was something wrong with the meal. Obviously, that's not the way this meal is supposed to taste, which at least, I hope it's not. But that might just be something that happens when you label something as a hearty chicken pot pie stew. It's one or the other. You can't have both. It's either a pot pie or a stew. Or in this case, a goo. I'm going to give the Hormel Compleats Hearty Chicken Pot Pie Stew the benefit of the doubt and not rate it right now. I'll give another one a try in a future video. Now after venting the tray and microwaving on high for 1 minute and resting for another minute, our Hormel Compleats Dumplings and Chicken are ready. Now is it just me, or does that look like a can of butter beans? And I like how they're brutally upfront and honest with you and call it dumplings and chicken instead of chicken and dumplings. Because as you can see, there's a whole lot more dumplings than there is chicken. But once we gave it a mix, the consistency was much better than the chicken pot pie stew thingamajiggy. And although it doesn't look like the type of chicken and dumplings that I like or make, it somewhat looks good to me. So we went in and got a big old spoonful. Now this looked edible, thank goodness. So into the old pie hole and down the gullet it went. Now like I said, this isn't like the normal chicken and dumplings I'm used to or I like, and this isn't even good chicken and dumplings. But for some reason, I really enjoyed it. The overly dense, tough, and doughy dumplings mixed with the salty gravy worked for me, and there was actually a decent amount of chicken. Had I thought about it at the time and added some black pepper to it, it would have been even better. My review on the Hormel Compleats, Comfort Classics, Dumplings and Chicken, you're just gonna have to take with a grain of salt. No pun intended. I loved it and ended up eating the whole container. It's one of those foods that you know is not good and you shouldn't really like it, but you end up loving it. Does that make any sense to anyone but me? It's like putting ketchup on a hot dog. You know it's wrong, but it's your hot dog and you can eat it the way you like it. So I'm giving Hormel Compleats, Comfort Classics, Dumplings and Chicken an 8 out of 10. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.